Here we are again to make new discoveries, learn a few more things about karma, to celebrate freedom from a compromised life we have always been living. Jai Bhairav Baba, Jai Bholenath. Karma has always been a villain in your life so far? What if I told you your soul, yes, your own soul, has never carried a single piece of karma? Does that sound controversial to you now? It doesn't carry anything at all. Not your mistakes, not your bad decision, not even that embarrassing thing you did back in 2012 that still haunts you at 3 a.m. every night. None of it touches your soul. And if that is true, a very interesting question appears. If the soul is so pure, then what exactly is carrying our karma? And more importantly, what is actually running our life? Is it our destiny? Is it our habits? Or is there some deeper system operating behind the scenes? Today is a day one. We will start to begin decoding this whole system. Welcome back to chapter 1. In this chapter of our fucked up lives, we are going to understand something very fascinating: how our visible and invisible bodies are structured and how they interact with each other. Because if you observe your own life carefully, you decide to eat healthy and suddenly your brain says, pizza would be a nicer option. You decide to wake up early and suddenly your bed becomes the most comfortable object in the universe. So the question naturally appears, who is actually in control here? To answer that, Vedanta gives us a very interesting model. It says the soul is surrounded by 3 bodies, not physical clothing, but layers of energy and experience, through which consciousness interacts with this whole world. Think of it like a Russian nesting doll, one inside another. Except instead of wood, these layers are made up of 3 different types of energies. But before we talk about those layers, we must first understand the very center of the system. Yes, the core. What Vedanta call is as Atma or the soul. Soul is pure, it does not change, it does not react, it simply observes everything. Your thoughts, your emotions, even the sense of I am this person. It observes all of it, all your life. And this is extremely important. Soul is not a body, it is a witness behind all the bodies. Which means nothing that happens in your life actually stains your soul. Not success, not failure, not karma itself. So your soul has 3 key properties. It is eternally free, it never carries karma, and it is never damaged by your life experience, even if you are a murderer or a saint. This leads to a surprising insight. Karma does not sit inside the soul. Karma sits in the layer around the soul. Think of your soul as a CPU of your computer. The CPU provides processing power, but the programs, the software, the files, the bugs, they are stored in the memory and storage, not inside the CPU chip itself. In the same way, the soul provides the light of awareness, but the karmic programs run in the layers surrounding it. And today we are going to explore those layers, the 3 bodies of the human experience. For the soul to experience this world, it needs an interface, right? Just like software needs a hardware to run, consciousness also needs a structure through which it can interact with reality. The ancient science of Vedanta describes 3 nested bodies that perform this role. As we have already seen in episode 0, at the deepest level, we have the causal body, your Karan Sharir. This is the master storage system. Then comes the subtle body, your Sukshma Sharir. This is the processing layer where thoughts, emotions and energy operate. And finally, your physical body, your Sthula Sharir. This is the visible output screen, the part everyone can see. And the same thing people trying to upgrade for Instagram posts and gym selfies. These 3 bodies are not separate objects, they exist inside each other. The causal body contains the subtle body and the subtle body contains the physical body. Not by the other way around, and information flows constantly between them. Think of it like this: the causal body stores patterns, the subtle body runs those patterns, and the physical body displays the result. So if you want to understand why certain behaviors repeat in your life, you have to look deeper than the physical body. Because the physical layer is where just the final report gets printed. Now let's explore the deepest layer of the system, the causal body. The deepest layer of human existence is called Karan Sharir, the causal body. You think of it like your karmic data center. If your life was a giant operating system, this would be the long-term storage device. The causal body is formed by two principles, Maya and Avidya. Maya is often translated as cosmic illusion, not an illusion like a magician tricking you, but more like a dream that feels completely real when you're inside it. The world appears solid, stable, and permanent. But if you look deeper, everything is constantly changing, constantly moving. Take an atom. It has proton that gives the identity to the atom. Neutron stabilizes the nucleus. Electrons create interactions and chemical reactions. Like if we compare proton to Brahma, the creation, proton determines what the atom is. So proton creates the identity of the matter. The neutron is like Vishnu, the preservation. Neutrons keep the nucleus stable. So neutrons preserve stability. And the electrons, the Shiva, the transformation. Electrons are responsible for chemical reactions, bonding, electricity, and energy exchange. All the changes and transformation of the matter happens because of the electron. This aligns with the Shiva, who represents transformation and cosmic change. How beautiful is that? Have you ever thought of it in this way? Ancient philosophies called this mysterious appearance as Maya. From a single atom to the whole physical reality of the cosmic illusion, including your physical body. And the second element is avidya. Avidya means fundamental ignorance, not ignorance as in lack of intelligence, but a deep misunderstanding. It is a belief I am completely separate individual, disconnected from everything else. From this misunderstanding begins the entire karmic cycle. The causal body stores three important things. The first is Sanchita karma. This is the entire accumulated karmic database across many lifetimes. Most of it remains dormant, like the files stored in an archive. Second, samskara. These are the karmic impressions formed by action. Think of them like a rows in the database table. Each impression stores a pattern. And the third, the most powerful one, is vasana. These are deeper tendencies. If samskaras are stored data, vasana automatically runs the script. Is everything going above your head? Let's make it very simple now. Some years back, I had a friend called Kevin Kumar Qureshi, a nice Punjabi guy, tall and handsome. So once Kevin failed in his exam, not by 2 marks, not by 10 marks. He failed so badly that even the calculator felt embarrassed. Kevin looked at the result and said, my destiny is so terrible. So he went home with a very sad face, drank some water, went inside his room and opened his laptop and started doing a very intense research on YouTube, like I did some years back while I was trying to understand about karma. 3 hours later, he became the most powerful person on the earth inside his own head. Kevin Kumar Qureshi, 3 hours before versus 3 hours now, was a totally different enlightened person, not like me. After 3 hours of research, he now knows why aliens build the pyramid, why coffee is secretly a poison, how smoking is one of a kind of pranayama, and why successful people wake at 4 a.m. But studying for the exam, not even a single page. Next week, he failed again. Kevin shook his head wisely and said, "See, I told you, bad destiny." Every time life became difficult, Kevin escaped. A little excuse here, a little excuse there, and slowly a pattern formed. Giving up became his default setting. Each time he repeated it, the samskara of quitting grew stronger. Now imagine a slightly different Kevin. Same Kevin Kumar Qureshi, same exam, same failure. He looks at the result and says, "Okay, this hurts, but maybe I should actually study this time." So he changes his routine, less of Netflix, less Instagram scrolling, more of actual studying. Each time he sits down and study, a new pattern formed, a samskara of discipline, a samskara of persistence. Years later, the two Kevins look completely different. One Kevin became an expert in excuses, the other Kevin became an expert in effort. Not because destiny was different, but because they strengthen different kind of samskaras. This is a karmic loop of ignorance, avidya. Avidya creates action. Action creates samskara. Samskara create tendencies or vasanas. Those tendencies push us into new actions and the loop continues. So stop blaming your destiny every time life slaps you hard on your face. But the moment Kevin pauses and says, wait, why do I always do this? Something changed. Because the moment you start observing your pattern, you slowly stop being controlled by them. And this is the moment karma begins to lose its grip. When awareness rests in the causal layer, we experience deep sleep. In Sanskrit, this state is called sushupti. There is peace, there is no thought, and you wake up and say, I slept well, but you don't know why. So to break the pattern, what is important here? Avidya, ignorance. To come out of the cycle or that loop, you still have to wait a little because your Sukshma Sharir is still waiting for you in the next section. Now we move one more layer outward, the subtle body. This is where karma stops being a stored data and becomes a live process. Thoughts appears here, emotions move here, desires form here, energies flow here. The subtle body operates through three systems, the three koshas of the body, the pranamaya kosha, the manomaya kosha and the vijnanamaya kosha. The pranamaya kosha is the energy layer. It operates through 5 pranas. The pranamaya kosha has 5 pranas. Prana, breathing inwards and moving energy. Apana, the elimination, urination, reproduction, childbirth. It's a downward moving energy. The samana, the digestion, nutrients absorption, metabolism, balancing. It's a balancing energy. The udana, the speech. It's an upward moving energy. And the vyana, the circulation, movement of nutrients and energy throughout the body. It's an expanding energy. This energy flows through the channels called nadis. These are the energy channels, or in traditional Chinese medicine, we call it energy meridian, and the chakras regulate its distribution. So one day what happened, this idiot friend of mine, Kevin Kumar Qureshi, is now all grown up with a beard and long hair like me, and a database full of sweet and shit inside himself, which he doesn't even know or care about very much. So after a very long day at work, he is now walking down a street and suddenly his stomach makes that universal sound, gudu 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 gudu. His digestive fire is active. His energy drops. The body signals, bro, we need some food now. This is pranamaya kosha in action. The pranamaya kosha has those 5 pranas. The prana, apana, samana, vyana, blah blah blah. So it needs energy for those shitty things it keeps doing all your life. Eat, digest, breathe, take stress and die. The next layer is manomaya kosha, your mental layer. Now by God's grace, these Qureshi guys walk past a bakery and there's this a freshly baked, beautiful chocolate cake. The smell of the bakery was so welcoming, so soft, so fresh and very dangerous. And immediately something happened in his mind. Chitta, your stored memories, recalls the past memory of eating the cake. Your manas, your active mind, generates a thought. That looks amazing. Then ahamkara appears. I love chocolate cake. I deserve it. Now the desire becomes very personal. The vijnanamaya kosha, the intellect layer. The higher mind, your intellect speaks. You already ate sugar today. This is not a good idea. You will regret this later. Now this poor fellow Kevin Kumar Qureshi stand outside a bakery experiencing a great philosophical battle of humanity. Desire versus discipline. If Buddhi wins, Kevin walks away. If Manas wins, Kevin walks inside and orders 2 slices just for his emotional support. The entire internal drama happens inside the subtle body. Unlike the physical body, the subtle body does not dissolve at death. It continues with the causal body into future experiences. When awareness operates here, we experience a dream state. In Sanskrit, this is called a swapna. Dream feels real, but they exist entirely inside the mind. Finally, we arrive at the most visible layer. The layer you guys were waiting for since so long. Your dissolvable, perishable, ginger-looking physical body. The one we spend hours grooming, styling, photographing and posting online on Instagram and Facebook. This body is apparently composed of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. So technically, you are warm watery mud with an empty space filled with farts, and this is your manifestation interface. I wonder, when did I manifest farts inside me? Everything happening in the subtle and the causal layer eventually appears here. Your behavior, your health, your relationship, and your beautiful life circumstances. The physical body includes your explosive brain and your nervous system, all the organs and the tissues, the PMSing hormonal system, your muscles and bones. But this body, your physical body, is temporary. At that, it dissolves back into 5 elements, which means eventually even our most impressive gym selfie returns to cosmic recycling. When awareness is focused here, we experience the waking state. In Sanskrit, this is called as Jagrit. We perceive the external world through our senses, and this leads to the key insight of the entire embodiment model. The physical body is just the final output layer. Everything you see in someone's life, their habits, their health, their reactions, their circumstances, is the visible printout from an Epson printer on A444+++ size of a paper about the processes running behind inside the subtle and the causal layers. And here we are having such a huge egos, even though we are just another printout out of 8.3 billion printout roaming here and there on earth. Nothing truly begins at the physical level. The physical layer is simply where the report gets printed. And once you understand this, you realize something very powerful. If you want to change the output of your life, you must start working on the deepest layers of the system, not just the surface. So after finishing that glorious chocolate cake on a perfectly suspicious Friday evening, something more happened. Suddenly, walking straight home felt philosophically impossible for Kevin. His body had so much of energy, his mood was upgraded, the timing was perfect, and somewhere across the street at the Royal Rasoi and Bar, his friends were already assembling like a council of bad decisions. Now tell me honestly, with all that fresh prana flowing, with the ancient samskaras quietly waking up, and with that innocent little vasana for whiskey that is whispering just one drink purely for spiritual research, how in the universe was he supposed to go home? Quite impossible, right? Completely against the law of psychology and Friday nights. So he turned one step, then another towards the glowing doors of the Royal Rasoi and Bar. But what he doesn't know is this: tonight the bar isn't just serving drinks, it is about to serve karma. A life lesson served with the whiskey. Will he control his mind, or will his vasanas place an order for him? We will find out that in the next episode. Thank you so much. Jai Bhairav Baba, Jai Bholenath. Om Namah Parvati Pate, Har Har Mahadev.